So let's resume where we left off. Well, somebody pointed out that we have a bug. See, right now in this game here, I've got two games that are ended in a draw. I'm going to replay it and then we'll see what happens. I'm going to replay one of them. So this was the game that ended in a draw. I go back, how many do I have? One more, right? So any game you replay, it gets added. So we need to prevent that. We need to prevent games that are a replay from getting added, getting saved. So where will we do that? So in our game model is where we save the game, right? We call this save game function. So if we can tell when a game is, if past game replay, don't save. This is what we need to do. Yes, Vikramji.
I won't able to show the draw option. Like it just say one. That's it.
Okay, it just says blank, right?
No one. No X, no O.
Yes, so if you are seeing that, then go back to your table view controller, and in your where you're setting up the cell, we have these lines. Make sure you have this.
Yeah, I have this.
Okay, in that case also, in the game model, make sure that when you are who won, you are assigning it to an empty string, not a space. There is no space here. It should not be. If you have a space, then it won't help.
No, it's empty.
Empty. Okay, then I'll look at it in a minute. Okay. So in the game model is where we save the game, and we don't want to save it if it's a replay. So let's add a variable here. Call it is past game, and then we will set it to false. So by default it's a new game, so it will be saved, and we'll change this variable to true every time we are replaying a past game. Okay, so once you have declared it, scroll down to your save game function and add an if. If is past game, then return. Okay. Is that enough? What happens if you play the game now and do a replay? Does it still get added? So I'm going to replay the last game. If it appears at the top, then we haven't fixed the problem. X1, right? Still getting. Why is that? See, we declared this variable and we gave it a value of false, meaning it's a new game, but we haven't changed it. So we need to change it. And we'll change it from the game view controller. So in the game view controller, where we are doing all these moves, when we are replaying the past game, we'll change the model property here. So the model is called the game model is past game equal to true. So now what will happen is that the model knows every time you are playing a past game, and it will not save when the game is finished. Okay, so we have probably fixed that problem. So now let me replay this game that ended in a draw, and it did not appear. Okay, so how do we make the moves appear slowly instead of all at once? So you could tell the system to show one move, wait for some time, then show the second move, then wait for some time, then show the third move, like that. That's how we can do it. So what we need to do is we need to introduce a delay, right? So let's say maybe a second or half a second or whatever you like. So that's what we'll do when we are recreating the game in this function. In here, when we are iterating, we need to introduce a delay. So before the for, let's define a variable called delay and give its type explicitly as double. Give it a value of 0. And inside this, we'll increment it by 1. So we are using a double and not an integer because it allows us fractional seconds if we want to. And also the timekeeper inside the system, it works with doubles. It does not work with integers. So unless we have it like this, it will complain. So once you've added these two lines, this and this, we'll find out how to. I'll show you the documentation. Let's search for how to delay execution in Swift. This is what I searched. And the very first result is how to program a delay in Swift 3. We are using Swift 5, but does not matter. So the first answer, which is marked as the right answer, is after a lot of research, I finally figured this out. Use this dispatch queue.
We have to use this code.
Yes, so we have to use this code. So we'll write it. So basically what this is doing is it puts the code on a dispatch queue. What is the dispatch queue now? So when the operating system, when you open your phone up, it's doing a lot of things. It's showing you the view, but in the background, it may be downloading something, it may be computing something, it may be retrieving this data, that data from its own storage. So all of that happens on different threads. But there is only one thread which updates the UI, what you are seeing. That is always one thread. That is the main dispatch. And anytime you want to control things that are visible to the user, you will want to put those tasks in that queue. So for example, we want one square to be filled, then a delay, then another square. All of that has something to do with the view. That is where this dispatch queue comes in. Dispatch queue.main, main dispatch queue. And async after is execute whatever is inside the curly brackets after this much time. So what is this deadline? After now plus 2, meaning 2 seconds from now. Okay, so this is what we will do. We will code it here now. So this is what you will write: dispatch queue dot main dot async after. Okay, and this option, it may not be the very first in your code, in your suggestions, but what you want is this deadline, dispatch time, and execute to void, returning void. Okay, and the dispatch time we saw in that Stack Overflow was now plus delay. And what is happening is because we are incrementing the delay inside the for loop, the first iteration will get a delay of 1 second. The second iteration will get a delay of 2 seconds, then 3, then 4. So all those moves will appear in that order. And this execute void is this exact same code we have here we want to run. So delete this here. Make it look like this, where it just says execute colon and then put a curly bracket open. Go to the beginning of the next line, press tab twice to indent it. Go to the end of it and then close the curly bracket and close this bracket also. We still have it open, the async after call. Okay. So once it looks like this, you will see that there are some errors and we will fix them. What is happening is whenever you put something to be executed later using these functions like dispatch queue.main.async after, you need to be more specific about which object you're talking about. It needs to know. Otherwise, this current object that you are talking, that where you're calling this from may go out of scope. So what it wants you to do is it just wants you to put a self dot in front. So what you're saying is call this function from this same object. And the second error is pretty much the same, and this gives you the option to insert self. So if you just say fix, it will fix it for you. Instead of typing 5 characters, you can use 1 mouse click. Okay, now run your app and watch what happens. Okay, how about an experiment? While your old game is being played, click on the grid and see what happens. Can you mess up the old game? Right? Click somewhere on the grid.
Yeah, messing up.
It's messing up the game, right?
Yeah.
So we have a bug. Let's fix that. So what is happening is that even though we are playing an old game, we are still accepting new clicks. So this is what I'm talking about. See, this game here is a draw, right? Let me play it. Oops, I need to run my code again. Compile it. Okay, so it is reproducing it, right? See, x1, it was supposed to be a draw. So I can mess up the whole thing. So we have to tell the game board to not take any new clicks if it's a past game. So this will do in our game view controller. See this square touched function, right? What we will do is we will close this function here and define a new function. Let's call it play the move, and we will give it the same arguments as the square touched. Okay. So the first thing we'll do here is we'll say play the move and we'll pass it the sender. So what we did was we removed all of that code that was inside this, we made it into a new function. And now what we will do is we will call this function only if it is not a past game. So if not replaying past game, then call this function. And there is one more change we'll need to make. Where we were calling square touched earlier, we will need to call play the move in our dispatch queue. Otherwise it will, see right now if I play, you will see that what happens. Let me play an old move, okay, old game. Nothing happened. Because this square touched won't do anything, because it comes here and it says, oh, I'm playing the previous. So that's why this function call here that is going to square touched will change this to play the move inside the dispatch queue. Now we should be all good. See, now I cannot mess up. I can try to click, nothing will happen. So these are the changes we made. We created, whatever was inside, we added this declaration there to make it a part of this. These are the lines you should be seeing. So these are the lines, these are the changes. We added these 5 lines of code. And we changed this from square touched to play the move. That's all we did. So if you do those things, you should still be able to. Okay. Underscore space sender. If you don't have a space, you have a problem. Okay, there is one more thing we need to fix here. See, when I am playing a past game, let's say I click on this one. At the top, it still says new game. We need to change that to past game. Okay, so that also we will do here in this game view controller, where we set inside this if replaying past game. So what happens is that this is a part of this navigation bar. So anytime we have a navigation bar, we have access to something called navigation item. So if you start typing NA, it will give you the options. Then choose navigation item. Dot, we want to set its title. If you set it to past game, then it should, instead of new game, it should show their past game. Past game. Everybody got up to this point? So do you guys remember that when we started this, we said that this is an in-class assignment with 6 marks to be had. So I'm just going to check here on Blackboard if it is there. Okay, so this assignment is going to be peer evaluation. So you will all submit and you will get 2 of your friends their assignments for grading. And as before, you will have detailed guidelines on what marks to give, what to look for. I'm just give me 1 second. I'm going to show the assignment to you. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can read it. Is the text big enough for those here farther away? Okay. So you will attach a zip file. So whatever project folder, just like you did on your midterm, you attach a zip file. Attach one screenshot of the storyboard. What that means is that you will go to your main storyboard and make sure that everything is visible, all four of them. My screen, I keep it much larger so you can see properly, but on yours it may be. So when all four are visible, you will take a screenshot. Do you guys know how to take a screenshot on Mac? No. So you press Command Shift and 4, and then your cursor will look like this, like a sniper rifle's pointer. And then you draw a box around whatever you want to take a screenshot of. It will show you here on the right hand side corner. I'll show you where those screenshots appear in a moment. So you take one screenshot like that. What else do you need? Following screenshots from the simulator. Screenshot of your welcome screen, your table view controller with at least 5 games in the history. Many of you already have more than that. And your game board showing a game in progress, some squares filled. So over here, we'll have to restart this so that we see the welcome screen. So restart your app, you'll see the welcome screen. Okay. To take a screenshot, you can press Command S. It will take a screenshot and it saves it on the desktop. See, simulator screenshot. The other screenshot is also on the desktop. And then when you say let's play, you can again take another screenshot, Command S. It will save it also on the, oops, here. And then just add a new game and play a couple of moves and then take another screenshot. So this is just sort of showing your work. Where is the, okay. Once you have taken those, I want you to answer question number 4 to the best of your ability with complete honesty. What out of these things, if something is not working, mention it. Otherwise, you say everything works. Don't need to write them all. Okay, so this is what you will submit.